Well, I don't know what the hell's going on with this camera, but what's going on, boys and girls? Let's talk some SEC football. Got the SEC Media Days going today and watched Kirby Smart talk about his Georgia Bullpups, the Goats. And GOAT does definitely not stand for greatest of all time when referring to Georgia. Let me ask you guys something. Why is Georgia the consensus pick to win the SEC East this year? They have the same amount of players coming back on offense as Tennessee does. Now, granted, they do have 3 more players than Tennessee coming back on defense. They have 10 to Tennessee's 7. But Tennessee's getting back some badly injured players from last year that missed anywhere from a game to the whole season. So our defense is going to be better. Talking about friggin' Vandy now. Speaking of teams that beat Georgia and Tennessee last year. But anyway, yeah, Georgia, kiss my ass. You guys are not winning the East this year. Nobody is talking about Florida except for a couple of people. Greg McElroy. He seems to think that Florida will win the SEC East, and how do you bet against them? Jim McElwain is 11-1 at home with Florida. They've won the East 2 years in a row. Their defense has been outstanding every year, and their offense just keeps getting better and better. But here we go again with Tennessee being the garbage pick in the SEC East. For everybody, they're going to suck. They got nobody coming back. There's question marks all over the place. Well, yeah, there is. But these aren't Derek Dooley backups replacing last year's starter. You know. Now, granted, they're not Nick Saban reserves either, but no team in the country but Alabama has Nick Saban reserves. Tennessee has recruited well for the last several years. That's one thing you can't deny about Butch Jones. And as heated as I have gotten over him the last few years, he's still the freaking coach. And I sure do like where we are now a whole lot better than where we were when Dooley was here. And you guys saw me on here every daggone week screaming because we either lost to Kentucky when they were using a wide receiver at quarterback or gave up 700 yards. Literally, not just being funny, we literally gave up 700 yards to Troy. And we're not seeing that anymore. Now we give up 600 a couple of times. But Shoop's defense will come around this year. I have confidence in him. And you guys may think I'm sick or on the dope. But I have confidence in Butch Jones this year for some reason and this team. Their back's against the wall. No one on planet SEC is giving them a chance. And that brings me to the word abysmal. I'll tell you, I have a hard time not necessarily believing, but I have a hard time taking serious a man named Booger. Now, obviously, Booger is a nickname, but why would you want to keep the nickname Booger through your whole adult life now? Hey, Booger, come here. Let me pick your brain. He says Tennessee will be abysmal this year. Now, I can't give you the exact Webster's definition for abysmal, but I can give you BVD's definition of abysmal. Suckage. And Tennessee is not going to be suckage this year. At worst, Tennessee will finish second in the SEC East this year. That's at worst. We have two quarterbacks, an issue, if you will, at Tennessee, just like Georgia. Everybody's saying Jake Eason, Jacob Eason, Jacob Eason, Jacob Eason. You listen to Uncle Jacob Eason, Christ. Well, don't forget about Mr. Fromm. Now, I don't know where Fromm is from, but where he is Georgia, and I think he's probably just as good a quarterback as Eason. And you look at some of the stats they gave on the SEC Network about Eason, and in some statistical categories, he was the worst, not just in the SEC, but in the country. So, Georgia, you can kiss my big, fat, aging, diabetic, toothless, hillbilly, redneck, hick ass, along with Florida and Alabama and everybody else in the SEC, and just sit back and watch as Tennessee shocks the world this year. Now, I'm going to shock you right now by giving my official, this is my official, stamp it, bloop, there, I just put the stamp on it, prediction for the SEC East and the West. In the East, I'm going with the Tennessee Vols. By God, why not? My team's just as good as your team right now. We got the same record. Georgia's losing 4 or 5 games this year. They're losing to us. That's 1. Possibly Notre Dame. That's 2. Definitely Auburn. Definitely Florida. That's 3 and 4. Maybe Georgia Tech. That's 5. And don't count out Appalachian State. Tennessee fans know all about them. But anyway, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia. I'll go with Kentucky because people have got them high for some reason. South Carolina, Vandy, and Mizzou. There. That's my official bloop SEC East picks. In the West, Alabama, then the rest. Okay, so have a good one. Enjoy the rest of SEC Media Days. High school football is 37 days away from kickoff, but some big scrimmages this year for the Green Devils. For those of you in the know around here, and Cowboys Crusader, who is a big Green Devils fan, we scrimmage Fulton August the 4th at Carson Newman College, and we've also got a scheduled scrimmage/practice with Farragut, a 6A school out of Knoxville, and a team that went to I think they either went to or won the state championship last year in 6A. I can't really remember. I think they won it. Anyway, go Vols, screw y'alls, and Uncle Lou. Have a shitty morning.